Lachlan here is a seasoned radio host, commentator, and the deputy program director at Talk 100.3 FM. Correct?
That's correct, yes. Yeah.
With over 20 years of experience in broadcasting, he's interviewed global sports legends like Adam Gilchrist, Sarah Lindsay, and Jeff Allardyce. He's the host of Talk Sport and Business, and whether it's a cricket match or a live business segment, he knows how to keep audiences tuned in. Today, we're diving into the world behind the mic, the fast-paced, unpredictable, and exciting world of live radio commentary. Let's welcome Lachlan.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So I'd like to just ask you about just your background. So how did you get into radio and broadcasting?
Look, I got into radio, Ibraheem, there was a time, you might not believe this, where the internet wasn't there. And I was quite a sporting kid. I was into rugby and cricket at school. And at about 13, I got quite sick and I actually had to stop going to school. I developed a disease and what's called ME, myalgic encephalomyelitis, or chronic fatigue syndrome. And I had to lie in bed for about 5 years. I was ill. And it's a great lesson, and I've spoken about this to students before. I've gone from this cricket kind of rugby kid to lying in bed listening to the radio. And I was into music, and suddenly I was playing guitar, and I did all these sort of things. And then when I went to begin socialising at about 16 or 17, to make a social connection when you're not at school, you had to be funny to get invited back, like that new kid at school. So those kind of two experiences kind of led me down a path of someone who learnt very quickly, how to talk and engage with people. And I had a love of music and radio, and it all just sort of, I had a path and it changed, and I had to find a way to kind of reinvent myself.
Yeah, and still keep that sport.
Yeah, and still keep that sport. Well, that's kind of the change. It was mainly, I was always in music radio.
Okay.
Initially starting, it was more the journey of coming back to Dubai, of what's possible in this city is kind of where I moved into, talk and sport radio.
Nice. So what's been your most memorable live on air moment?
I've had a few. I've had a few that I've wanted to forget. Look, that's the story of when you're talking about those topics, Ibraheem, of thinking and thriving. I was really memorable. I was here working for quite a big radio station called Dubai 92. And I thought it was a big station. I had my head on billboards, and my face is on JBR, and I'm going really well. And within 6 months of starting here, COVID hit, and I found myself being unemployed. And then I found myself back in Australia with my parents. And I was in a position where, things weren't going too well. Took a roll of the dice, came back to the UAE, and then within 6 months, I'm sitting there calling a World Cup final, and I'm next to Sir Clive Lloyd, who was captain of maybe the greatest cricket side ever, the West Indies side of the 70s and 80s. And there's just me and my mate Clive, and we're sitting here calling a match that's going out to 11 countries around the world, getting messages from people listening in Barbados and people listening in Sri Lanka. And to sit that and do that for a couple of hours was, and Australia won the match, so I had that as well. So that was a great moment, yeah.
Nice. So radio is about connection, but how do you connect with an audience that you can't really see?
Yeah, people ask that a lot. I think that how do you connect with an audience you can't see is the idea of great storytelling. I think that, we all know we do see more of radio now. I told the story when we were just chatting backstage of I got into radio at kind of doing journalism, and now I'm doing TikTok Bollywood dances and doing lots of things. And you sort of have to learn to master the art of the story, that you just learn how to use your voice. And I think that in today's age of ChatGPT and all the technologies, humans still love stories. It goes back to the days of whether it was our ancestors, drawing stories through paintings on rocks or whatever it was, or whether it's a Netflix series now. We love stories, so we connect through stories.
Yeah, I agree. So I'd like to move on to kind of pick your brain on the industry of radio and hosting.
Yeah.
So what makes live radio different to other forms of media like TV or podcasts?
I think what's great, and I have such a passion for live radio, but I think with the content on demand, the live aspect is going. But what I love about live radio is that things can go wrong. And sometimes they produce the best moments. When you're sitting there doing it, we might have seen those where there's a live television program and they like to bring out all sorts of animals, and then the animals go a bit crazy and you never know what's going to happen, and that often produces the best piece of content. So I think that live, that it's unscripted, is what's best. Nowadays, we're making so many podcasts, and I love the idea that there's content on demand, but part of me, and maybe I'm a bit of an old timer, having one expert talking to another expert about how much they know about the same topic, and it's all a little bit kind of jilted, is something that I think you'll see the live element come back in.
Yeah. So how do you prepare for interviews with high-profile guests like CEOs?
Yeah, there's a balance there, because I think sometimes if you're speaking to a high-profile CEO, what do you want to do? Do you want to absolutely learn everything about them?
Yeah.
Or do you maybe not want to know too much, so you go in with an inquisitive mind so you can ask questions? I think you've kind of got to, as we say in radio, you've got to live in the listener's world. So the idea is, what does the listener want to know? So it's understanding who's your audience, and then what do they want to know about this CEO in his industry or his career that they're going to find entertaining.
So you mentioned earlier about when things go wrong. So how do you manage like live issues, like tech, for example, when it goes wrong?
Well, the first job is if you're doing something wrong, you just, like anything in life, you've got to remain calm. You know, you've got to make sure that things can be clear and considerate. And if you're on stage and things go wrong, it's an issue. I can say this now. I was hosting a corporate event,
right?
And there was a lucky prize draw for staff members.
Okay.
5th place was a Mercedes.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of it. I think 4th place was a Mercedes, 3rd place was a Porsche, 2nd was a Ferrari, 1st was a Lamborghini Aventador. And I was thinking, is this a real company? Because these were and then she said, you're going to have to pull out as a lucky draw, and then we're going to announce the staff numbers, and then if their number comes up on the screen, they get to come up on stage and they've won a Lamborghini. Great.
Nice.
Guess what happened? The number system didn't work on the screen. So then she's messaging me the numbers on my phone to a WhatsApp, and you've kind of got to do that thing where you're pulling the number out of a thing, and how do you look at this? And man, it's just, you just got to just relax and keep your sense of humour. Yeah.
Nice. And finally, being an Aussie, how do you stay neutral if you're commentating like a home game, like you were saying earlier?
It's a good question. I think it goes back to, what does the audience want?
Yeah.
So in the cricket commentary I do here in Dubai, it's predominantly listened to by South Asians and some English people, and they love to see Aussies lose. So then you've got to realise that if I'm in the commentary team and there's 6 or 7 of us and everyone's from Pakistan or India or Sri Lanka, they want me to be pro-Australia. Because they then enjoy it more when we don't go through. So that's the way it comes down to what does the audience want? Yeah.
So I'd like to move on to some kind of rapid-fire questions now.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, no time to think, just answer.
Okay.
Okay, so favourite sports commentator?
Richie Benno.
One celebrity you'd still love to interview?
Celebrity I would love to interview. I would love to interview, well, I would have said Shane Warne, but he's passed away. I'll say Mick Jagger.
Okay. Your most used word on air?
Well.
And if you could be in any band, which band would it be?
Oh, which band would I be in? I think I would love to. I said Mick before. As a guitar player, I would love, as a blues-based guitar player, I'd love to be in the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, I'd agree. Favorite co-commentator of all time?
So Clive Lloyd, yeah.
Of course. One show you'd never miss?
As radio show, TV show, anything?
Whichever.
One show I know. At the moment, it's Clarkson's Farm. I'm loving that at the moment.
Yes. Cricket in whites or coloured?
Yeah, whites.
Yeah.
I'm old-fashioned. Yeah.
A phrase you use way too much?
Let me think about that.
And finally, if you weren't a commentator, what would you be?
Yeah, I think I'd probably be either two things. I'd either be a guitarist, or I probably would have followed the family business and gone into real estate or auctioneering or something like that.
Interesting. Well, thank you. That really was rapid. So as we move to our final segment, we have a few questions that, like from us, students,
Okay.
for some advice.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give students interested in radio, but they don't really know where to begin?
In 2025, it is unbelievable the accessibility that you have with technology, that the greatest microphones, mixers, all the equipment is available on Amazon that's world class, and you can have it delivered the next day. So there's a great opportunity to get your hands on gear that even a few years ago, unless you were in the industry, you wouldn't have had that opportunity. So I think the idea is that you get obviously the hardware that you get access to. But I think if someone's really keen on going into radio, it's about understanding your personal brand and knowing that platforms change, whether it's FM is becoming podcasting, or whether it's, podcasting is becoming video podcasting on YouTube. Yeah. Know your brand, because that's going to be able to then be utilised on whatever the new platform or the new technology is.
Interesting. And how can young people build their public speaking confidence?
I think the best thing about public speaking is it's something that what I find is you can't really teach it. You've just got to do it. Yeah. It's a bit like learning to fly a plane. You can sit on the ground all you like with the controls. The only way to get your hours up, and we always talk about flying hours. So great MCs have been bad MCs because they've learnt what it's like when things go wrong, and you've learnt to already prepare and be backstage and realise, hang on, I know this microphone is going to go flat, or I know something's not going to work. So to be a good MC, just get out there and keep doing it and really hone your craft.
Well, thank you very much for taking us behind the scenes of radio and live broadcasting. Your stories, your insights, and your authenticity remind us that communication is more than just talking, it's about connecting. We've loved hearing the voice behind the mic, and we're grateful to have had you at our Think and Thrive Summit.
Thank you very much. Thank you.